All right, let's dive into something huge that's really been making waves this year. We're talking Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. The second Hunger Games prequel.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually the #2 most searched book of 2025 already. Pretty incredible.
It really is.
So our mission today is basically to unpack a key critical review of it, give you the main points, the insights, without you needing to read the whole review yourself.
And it's amazing how fast this book just blew up, right, since it came out in March. It
Yeah.
seems like the whole Hunger Games fandom worldwide just lit up again.
Totally.
And this one, it goes way back, 24 years before Katniss. It's all about the 50th Hunger Games, the second Quarter Quell.
Which means
Haymitch.
Abernathy's games.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so this review we're looking at, it gives the book a pretty strong rating, 4.5 out of 5 stars.
That's really good, yeah.
So what's the standout strength, according to the reviewer, especially thinking about the characters? Well, the big thing they highlight is Haymitch himself. His portrayal. The review calls his origin story raw, morally gray, and emotionally layered. So if you mostly know Haymitch as, the cynical mentor figure.
Yeah, kind of washed up almost.
Right. This book apparently shows you the deep trauma, but also the brilliance underneath that made him who he is. It's quite a revelation. It seems like it really changes how you see him.
That sounds fascinating. And, Collins always weaves in that political critique with the dystopia.
Mm-hmm.
How does this book deepen that? Even though it's said earlier, what's the take on Panem's politics here?
Well, the review says it gets into things like state propaganda, survivor's guilt, even rebellion fatigue, maybe more closely than before. It's not just what the Capitol does, but sort of the how and why it works.
The psychology of it.
Yeah, exactly. How it gets under people's skin creates that complicity. It really makes you think about the mental toll of living in that system.
And the games. I mean, that's always a huge draw.
Mm.
Are they as tense as ever?
Oh, definitely. The 50th games, they're described as especially brutal. You've got double the tributes, 48 instead of 24.
Wow.
And the review mentions it's just filled with brutal twists, makes the action sequences sound really heart-pounding and unpredictable. You're likely on the edge of your seat.
Okay. But it wasn't a perfect 5 stars.
Mhm.
4.5 is great, but implies maybe some small issues. Did the review mention any weaknesses?
It did touch on a couple of things. Some pacing issues, particularly in the capital sections.
There.
The reviewer felt sometimes the political exposition overtakes character interaction a bit, can slow it down.
Right. Less show, more tell, maybe?
Sort of. And also, if you were really hoping for a big romance, like in Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, this one's apparently darker and more introspective, less focus on that, more on the grim reality, I suppose.
So, different vibe. Grittier.
Yeah, exactly. Grittier is a good word.
Okay, so pulling all this together then,
Right.
what are the main themes the review really points to? The big takeaways?
The review hits on a few key recurring ideas. Definitely trauma and survival, the burden of memory, how the past haunts people, also the cost of rebellion, but also the cost of not rebelling, of being complicit, and that constant tension between power, the spectacle of the games, and any kind of resistance.
That sounds like a lot to unpack. Very dense.
It does sound dense, yeah.
Thought-provoking.
So the review calls it one of Collins' most mature works yet. That's
Yeah.
quite the statement. What's the final word? The overall conclusion.
The conclusion is that it's a powerful and haunting addition to the whole Hunger Games world. Maybe not as action-focused on the surface as, say, Catching Fire, but deeper, more introspective.
Okay.
And crucially, it brilliantly sets up the ideological foundation for Haymitch's distrust, both in the system and
Yeah.
in people generally.
Ah, okay. That makes sense of his character later on.
Exactly. So the reviewer basically says it's one of Collins's most mature works and a definite must-read for fans of YA dystopia. Great. So there you have it, a solid overview of what makes Sunrise on the Reaping tick, according to this review. All the key points in one place.
And maybe something to think about as you process all this. Consider what it really signifies for Haymitch and the whole story, that his journey ends up cementing such a profound distrust in the system and in people. How do those themes, power, survival, deep skepticism, maybe echo beyond the book, perhaps even in things you observe out in the world? Just some food for thought.